right, ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome back, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode here on ETCÉTERA podcast. Y'all know what it's about. Today we have a very special guest. We have an artist, if you will. No, you're an artist. You're an artist.
Appreciate that.
You're an artist, the culinary arts. Most of you might, I'm sure a lot of you know him. He is very popular here in the area in Dallas. Yours truly, Julian Rodarte.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jesse. Appreciate it.
For sure, my guy. Dude, I was really excited to have you last time, but then some stuff.
That's totally my bad.
No, dude, that one would have been like, that was gonna be like a peda.
Gotcha.
You know, in English, like it was just gonna be like a, how do you say peda? Una peda.
Like a riot or like.
Or like it was just gonna be like I'm sorry, I don't even know if you know how much Spanish you know, but
kitchen wise.
Good.
Yeah,
we're good.
That's where I grew up. So
okay, makes sense. No, but a peda is like we're gonna get lit.
Gotcha.
That's what it was gonna. That's, you know, like that was
like
kind of like the vibes that it was gonna be, because you know we're gonna have Jaime, Mauricio, and who's the
all
other?
All the homies.
Except Mauricio was also in Mexico.
Oh really?
He told me the day before also like, hey, by the way, I'm in Mexico, and I was like,
Dang.
what? I was like, all right, it's all cool, man. Julian couldn't make it either. He has his PR thing going on, but everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
Because I'm hoping you have some exciting news to share with us.
Yeah, I can definitely share a lot more now than I could back then. So it's I would have had to be a lot more closed lip and like nervous and trying not to like leak too much stuff now. Then, but today we can be a little more chill and casual about it.
For sure.
Excited about that.
Hell yeah, dude. If you want to go ahead and pour some water, so you don't have to like be drinking out of that.
For sure. Shout out Essential Water.
Not a sponsor.
No, not a sponsor. Oh, I'm sorry.
But they're cool people.
Say that
no, you're cool. Nah, you're good. I'm fucking with you. You can say whatever you want, dude. There's no.
They gave me my first national TV spot. So
is that new?
No, that was, this was back in 2018 or 19. It was me, Patrick Mahomes.
I saw that, yeah.
And oh my gosh, and Xena from Universal Music, and crap, I cannot remember her name, but she was basically like one of the Kardashian or Jenner designers, young girl, super talented. I think, man, at the time she was probably like 23 or 4, but like was literally Kanye would have her over to like discuss like fashion stuff, like super young, up and coming, like New York fashionista, and super talented. It was cool. It's cool to have, that like all those individuals in a room and just kind of like, be talking about our different industries and really where we started and how we got there. Anyways, sorry.
No, I was going to talk to you about that. Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I went to your website and I saw, the little playback that you have on the background.
Yeah, the little reel.
Yeah, and I saw Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, dude. I was like, all right, who is this Julian?
Yeah.
I really don't know you. We
went to the concert, and obviously we know a lot of the same people.
Yes.
But like, I guess on a personal level,
we've never really. I remember you said something about, I told you that we're from Monterrey.
Yes.
And I think you said something about.
My father was born in Monterrey. And actually he ended up growing up in Durango, but he was born in Monterrey. His father and his family was from Monterrey, and then my abuelita, his mom, was from Durango. So that's kind of I remember we connected on having family there.
But dude, I'm super excited to have you here. I invited you a cup of coffee, but you didn't want anything.
I'm sorry.
But,
caffeine gets me going.
Salud,
so,
brother.
Hey,
thank you for coming, bro.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, man. I know you're sort of in a time crunch, but
let's enjoy this. Let's have some fun.
For sure, dude. For sure. So you know what? I just want to start with asking you. So for those that don't know, Julian is with his father is, ¿cómo se llama? Beto and Sons.
Yes.
The restaurant right here at the Trinity Groves. I have been there a few times. I've gone dancing.
Oh, for salsa night.
It's been a while. I don't know if this is pre-pandemic.
Yep, for sure, pre-pandemic, because we haven't done it since post-pandemic. Unfortunately, obviously, post-pandemic, it wasn't exactly socially acceptable to have like that kind of event at your restaurant. But we're working on getting it back now that everything's like, face masks gone and all that other stuff.
Exactly.
It's like all right, kick the party back up then.
Exactly. Were you a dancer?
No. So, I guess story time, when it comes to salsa night. So, was actually born in San Antonio, and went back to grew up most of my life here in Dallas, but, went back to San Antonio for culinary school. So when I was about 20 years old, moved to San Antonio, got a place out there, was working at a restaurant on the Riverwalk to kind of pay my bills and all that kind of stuff. And when I was working there, working in restaurants, everybody is Hispanic from all different walks of life. And so met this guy who was really into kind of like bachata and salsa clubs. And he was like, hey, man, you ever dance salsa or bachata? And I am an artist and I love music, but I cannot dance. Like I am talented with my hands, not with my feet.
Exactly.
So I was more interested in like being around all the other pretty Latin women, and that's what was
Makes
my
sense.
yeah. So I would go, and I remember one time there was this girl that I was like, oh my gosh, like I totally want to dance with her, and
she knows who she is.
She knows who she is. She asked me to dance. I was like, holy crap, like this is crazy. Like I feel like I was, like imagining this and now it's happening. And I was like, crap, it all hit me at once. Like I don't know how to dance. And luckily it was bachata, which to me is a little bit easier than salsa personally. But I saw this guy who looked really good, and I was like, I just literally have to mirror everything he's doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she was just being sweet. She told me that I did pretty well, so maybe she was just kind of like felt bad for me and said, oh man, he probably feels terrible about how bad of a dancer he is. Let me give him a little compliment or something. But anyways,
right.
I had a great time.
But all right. So it started from San Antonio.
It started from San Antonio.
You saw the vibes out there. It's like, you know what, I got to get this.
Came back to Dallas and was like asking all my Latin friends, hey, where does this exist? And they were like, oh, well, if you go to like Irving or Arlington or, like if you go, and they're like, okay, but like, what about in Dallas?
Those those dancing cults.
Yeah. And they were just like, well, there's no like salsa, bachata, like clubs in Dallas or whatever. And I was like, for real? Like that doesn't exist? I was like, all right, well then I guess I'm gonna have to host the first one.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah. I did want to ask you, because I saw that you were born in San Antonio.
Yep.
What part of Dallas did you guys move to?
So originally was like North Dallas, and then Plano, and then McKinney. So all different parts of the DFW. Gotcha. I would say most of my life kind of like McKinney area, but we originally moved to kind of like North Dallas and then Plano.
And what age was this?
4.
Okay, early on.
Yeah, early on. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't remember San Antonio being born there or whatever, but glad I got to spend a couple of years, for culinary school down there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How is culinary school?
It's in the middle of it.
I don't think I've met anyone that.
Yeah, in the middle of it as a I guess up and coming. If you think about any kind of artist, right? Like you're always thinking about what it's going to be like to leave culinary school and like get out and get your first opportunity and like be able to shine and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm sure any artist, whether it be musician or whatever, that goes to, their school for that, they're like looking for that opportunity outside of the school and hoping that the school brings them some kind of opportunity, right?
Right.
So in the middle of it, you're just like waiting for it to be over. And then when it's over, you're like, that was probably some of the best years of my life. Why was I such in a hurry to get out of here? Because I mean, every day you're going into a kitchen with all the most amazing ingredients you could ever want in life that you realize in real restaurants, it's like it would cost too much from a food cost standpoint to have that just at your disposal every single day. So it was an awesome, amazing experience that I will never forget, and I wish I could go back and do all over again.
Dang. That's awesome, dude. I saw I think it was on the video that they did on you with Fulfilled.
Okay, yeah.
I saw the whole 20 minutes of it.
Okay, yeah.
All right, it was great.
Thank you.
It was really good. I heard the grilled cheese story.
Yeah.
Is that that's like for real? Like, that was like when you the point where you're like, I kind of want to cook.
Yes.
I want to learn how to cook.
So crazy story, I guess. When I was growing up, my dad's a chef, so he cooked all the time. And I got spoiled because he was always making, he'd come home and make, these amazing elaborate meals every night. And my mom was the polar opposite. She's like, I don't cook, like at all. She's like, you're hungry and you need me to make you something, 2 things, peanut butter and jelly or cold ham and cheese. And I was like, no, like I'm the son of a chef. What do you mean I get to eat peanut butter and jelly? And anyways, young and entitled, right? So I was like, well, you know what? Then I'm gonna make my own food or whatever. I've seen my dad do this plenty of times, and open the fridge and you look in there for an hour and try to figure out what you have, and there's plenty of things in there, but when you're a kid, you don't know what to do with it.
Right. And the most American thing snack you can actually make that's somewhat gourmet.
Right.
A grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese. And so that's how it all started. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a grilled cheese, but you know what? I'm gonna throw some meat in there. And I'm gonna do some of this, some of that. And it kind of like finally hit me. And I was like, yep, I'm gonna be a chef because of this grilled cheese sandwich right here.
Nice.
But yeah, no, obviously it evolved and kept going and went different places from there. But that's when I guess I got the confidence that like I could do things, and that little creativity bug that jumps in your head.
And
like,
how old were you at this?
Shoot, man, maybe somewhere between 8 and 10 years old.
So around 8 and 10.
Yeah.
That's where like Julian might be a chef at some point.
Right. And of course my dad's like, yeah. And in his mind, he's going like, please don't go into the restaurant industry.
I think that's every parent, if it's not like, I guess like law or medicine or engineering, anything else, it's like, don't choose my path, go somewhere, do something else, get an easier route.
Yep. Especially Latin parents, being kind of like immigrant kids, right? Your parents are always like, oh, the people that are rich with money and respected are, they're either engineers, they're doctors, or they're lawyers, or they're, politicians, or like that's kind of what, when you come to America and you see the people that are living out that American dream or whatever, that's kind of who you see doing that. And so of course, being a kid of a first generation, Mexican dad, that's what he was like, hey, go do that. I'm in kitchens because when I got to, the US, dishwashing was the first thing I could do, and so he was like, why would you, like, you have the opportunity to do whatever you want. That was all I had. Like that was what was available. It was go picking in the fields or go wash dishes. And you know what? There was food around and air conditioning when I was washing dishes. So that's what I did.
Exactly. Yeah, no. What was your first job there?
Washing dishes.
At your dad's restaurant?
Yeah, so my dad had a little taqueria in McKinney at the time, and I had told him I was 14 at that time, and I had said like, hey Dad, you know what? I'm gonna be a chef. Like I'm gonna be in the kitchen like you. I'm gonna cook and all that kind of stuff. And obviously I had kind of evolved into cooking more things at home than just grilled cheeses at that point. So I was so I was just thinking like, oh man, I got what it takes, not knowing what it really takes to work in a kitchen line, because it's cooking in your house and working in a kitchen is completely different.
For sure.
But so he was basically trying to dissuade me from being in the restaurant. So he was like, here's an apron, dish pits that way. And I was like, well, Dad, I said I want to be a chef. I didn't say dishwasher. Like what, but lucky for me, he was like, it's not how it works. You wash dishes. And so did that for like 6 months, like, just waiting for him to, finally give me the chef coat, to be in the kitchen. And instead I got the, hey, you can be a busser now. So bus tables, go clean up everybody else's mess.
How did it feel there whenever you told him, Dad, I'm going to school, I'm going to be a chef? When I decided to go to culinary school and make it really official, I was 20. So that was 6 years later. So I had already been working in restaurants and pretty much worked every position in a restaurant that there was available. So at that point, he was already, I think, kind of had accepted like, okay, this kid's going to be in restaurants, like for sure. But I'd also kind of showed him that like I had, what it took to work hard and work the hours, and it wasn't gonna scare me. Like it wasn't gonna be like something that I was like, I'm tired of cleaning up other people's, junk tables and all that other kind of stuff. Like, I really, wanted to show like that it was my passion, what I wanted to do. So, so yeah. I like how the name Beto and Son, who came up with that? Be honest.
Actually, it wasn't me or my dad. It was actually Phil Romano, our partner, at Trinity Groves. He came up with the name. It was crazy because we were having the hardest time. Honestly, I thought I came up with a bunch of great names. I thought Phil hated them. And my dad came up with a couple names too. And Phil was just like, nope. Finally, he was like, we're going to call it Beto and Son. And I remember I first heard it and I was like, it sounds like a law firm. Like it doesn't sound like a restaurant. And now I love it. Now I'm so thankful. I'm like, dang, Phil's got it. But when I first heard it, I was like, Beto and Son? Like, what the hell is that? Like, no one's going to think that's a restaurant. But yeah, like I said, now I'm super thankful because it's worked out really well for us.
Yeah, no, I love it. I was like, man, that's cool. Like he put, they're using the dad.
Yeah.
The dad is the Beto, you know, but you're the face of this whole thing.
Yep.
But we're using your dad, and then
Right.
you're just the son.
Yep.
But it was really, really cool. I was like, man,
Yeah.
This must speak a lot about Julian, but it wasn't your idea.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I wish I could,
just change the story.
Right.
We'll block this out.
I know, right. We'll do it all over again.
No,
unfortunately, I'm terrible with names. Like, I'm super creative in kitchens and with recipes and concepts, but with names, like, I just have a brain fog. Like, it just doesn't work that way. So thankfully, my wife, Alexa, like, is great at marketing and PR and branding, and she usually comes up with all the great naming ideas. I didn't know her at that time, so she wasn't there to help me out. She probably would have come up with it super quick, but yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Man, so I know you have a lot of stuff going on. The restaurant for sure is a big part of your life.
Big time.
Kind of like walk me through, like, what's the day to day right now in Julian's life at this point in your life, like with all the success you've reached.
Yep.
What's your day to day?
Shoot. Well, I kind of feel like to go over today's day to day, I got to go back just a little bit, and I'll try to keep it brief. We opened Beto & Son 5 years ago, and that was a dream come true for myself, because I never thought I'd open my own restaurant until I was, much older, much more experienced in my culinary career.
Yeah.
And when we got the opportunity, it was just kind of like, man, we got to knock this out of the park. So between my dad and I, we collaborated and made, the restaurant what it is. And, fast forward, a lot of opportunities have opened up. So last year I spent most of my time with some other partners that I kind of met up with, rebranding the Trudy's Tex-Mex brand in Austin, as well as South Congress Cafe. And I was still at Beto's on weekends and kind of going back and forth between Austin and Dallas. But that was kind of like a project that I'd been wanting to do something outside of Trinity Groves. And I wanted it to be Beto & Son related, where we were opening other concepts, but it wasn't in the cards at the time. So I went and did that project. And then, about, I guess 6 months ago now, an opportunity came up to come back to Trinity Groves and, do more concepts. And so talked with Phil and he was, open to the idea, and he kind of was the one who reached out and really pitched it. And I had been asking, hey, Phil, can I do another restaurant at Trinity Groves for a long time? And there was just other people kind of in the queue waiting to do their own concepts. But now it's actually kind of coming to fruition. So in the day-to-day of today, long-winded answer to get to your question, is basically I'm working on opening 3 new concepts at Trinity Groves. That's what we've got kind of planned right now.
Keeping them all there?
Yes, all there. So venturing outside of the Mexican food realm, doing our first concept's going to be kind of an American restaurant with like a southern/southwestern twist. And then we've got another concept coming up. So that first one will probably open around like May-June timeframe.
Sure.
Second one will probably be closer to the end of the summer, and then the last one will be the end of the year. So 3 new kind of restaurants / different cuisines at Trinity Groves. That's my day-to-day, is kind of conceptualizing, doing recipe development.
All right, but let's go a little deeper now. Okay. Let's say you wake up.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you do?
Shoot. Oh, we're going deep. Okay. First thing I do when I wake up is usually get caught up on emails that I should have answered the day before, but just ran out of time for, or fell asleep answering the night before.
Good answer.
So that's usually what it starts off with. I love celery juice in the morning. I used to be a caffeine junkie.
Really?
Yeah, I used to be a big caffeine junkie. I used to drink. I would go to Starbucks and I would say, hey, I need 8 shots of espresso. And I wouldn't chug 8 shots of espresso at once. But it was like my all throughout the day, like drinking kind of thing. I'm super ADD. I'm sure by the conversation, people usually pick that up. Like, dude, you're all over the place. But it's weird. The caffeine kind of like mellowed me out and kind of kept my mind at ease, I guess, from going all over the place. So it's weird. I noticed from the caffeine and at the time, like diet and all that kind of stuff, I was really suffering. And so I transitioned to celery juice because of all like the B vitamins and all the other nutrients it has. And I noticed that it kind of kept me going throughout the day. So anyways, so we go with the emails, then we do the celery juice, is the coffee in the morning.
Okay.
My wife and I have a trainer since, obviously been in the kitchen cooking all day, eat a lot. Always doing different tequila, wine, all that other kind of tastings, right? So
you got to balance it out.
Yep, got to balance it out. Got to detox. Got to sweat it out, and try to keep the weight down. So usually work out after that. And then kind of moving on, usually have a rehydrating juice, something like coconut water, beet juice, some sea salt, cucumber, that kind of thing. I'm a big juicer. I love juice. That's like my thing.
Dude, hell no. I respect it, but I can't. Yeah. No, I can't do it. It's too much, too healthy for me. In my
well, I think you got to understand though, when so for example, like this one of these concepts that I'm developing, it's very rich, heavy foods, right? And I gotta literally be tasting this stuff all day long, like developing over and over and over again. So when you eat like really rich food like all the time, you start to like one of two things happen. Your body either like says like, hey, this ain't gonna make, like this ain't gonna work, you know, like I'm gonna need something like to supplement this, you know, to poor eating habits with, you know, or you just kind of let yourself go and, you know, done that once or twice and don't really want to go back to that, you know. So the juice is kind of like the nice kind of cleansing, healthy, you know, way of balancing, you know, this kind of crazy lifestyle.
But so you work out, how often do you work out there?
Shoot, I wish I could say every day, but I'm not that good. I would say probably 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay. That's still pretty consistent. Responsible. It's responsible. It's responsible.
Yeah, it balances, you know, it out.
It gets you through.
Yeah, exactly. It gets me through. Yeah, it gets the endorphins going.
I was gonna say are you a kind of guy that kind of like, do you fast?
Oh yeah. Actually, so right now I'm prepping for a shoot that I have in March. I haven't eaten since let's see, Thursday will be 2 weeks that I really haven't eaten. Just juice cleansing right now.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, you haven't eaten like meat?
I think I've had one meat meal since like about almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. So I do this for every shoot though. Like,
wow.
And I think, you know, when you look at, I'm not saying that I'm a Hollywood person by any means.
I was gonna say
no, but when you look at like the
sounds like
the Hollywood,
bro.
Right? When you look at the Hollywood diets, whatever, like those guys aren't, you know, like staying in that crazy shape all year.
No, they have to prep for it.
Right. So like, luckily my manager that manages a lot of my like on camera event stuff. He kind of like gave me he lives in Calabasas, so he kind of gave me like the DL of like, hey, this is how it works. This is what you do and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, like I can do that. Cause I was like, man, there's no way with my lifestyle that I could like live that way 24/7.
For sure.
So usually it takes me about a month, to get down to the weight I need to get to be on camera. And then, you know, I'm good to go. So and basically until the end of March, I'll be just juicing until I get down to the weight I need to get to film, and then I'll be back to my usual shenanigans.
Nice. All right, so you work out, and then let's go.
Yeah. So then usually at that
pick
point,
up the fruit. You
right?
Don't do that anymore. Or?
Well, no, yeah, juice, and then go to work. And you know, usually meetings in the morning, just to kind of get the day, you know, started right, get all the communication, kind of going. So meetings in the morning, phone calls in the morning. Usually that goes till about noon. Then usually I'm in Beto and Son or one of the restaurants, just kind of checking up on things, making sure everything's going the way it's supposed to be going. Lunch is going well. See all the lunch regulars. A lot of our regulars come in for lunch, so you know, like to get to have some FaceTime with them. Every once in a while, do some different tastings. I prefer to have them like around like the 1 to 2 o'clock time frame, because it gives me enough time to do those tastings and then get out of it and finish kind of my day with the rest of my, you know, kind of development work, whether it be working with a design group on the new design of the restaurants, or working with a contractor, or recipe development and all that other kind of stuff. So usually once I get to work, it's kind of just go, meeting, talk to people, you know, get with the different managers, bartenders, all that kind of stuff, see how things are going, what's moving, what's not, and all that other kind of stuff. And then usually wrap up around, depending on the day, 7 on weekdays, closer to 9 or 10 on weekends. Head home, and then basically that's when I get a lot of my emails and computer and like admin stuff done, when I'm not in the middle of the office or meetings or restaurant or whatever. And that's pretty much when I'm answering emails until I pass out, and then whatever I didn't answer, I go back to.
This is a question I did want to ask you. It's a little fun question.
Yeah.
But I know other restaurant owners.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of them are, you know, they're doing really, really well, right?
Yep.
Their lifestyle is completely different. Yep. They, you know, they have they're like, it's going great for them. Once that happens, a lot of times they don't cook anymore. like at home.
Yeah.
They don't cook. They don't ever cook.
Yeah.
They just go to the restaurant and whoever they have as the chef there.
Right.
Hey, can you make me whatever?
Yeah.
And they'll do it. It's not on the menu, or sometimes
Right.
they order off the menu, whatever. But like that's like their new kitchen. I was gonna ask you, are you there yet, or are you still going home to like cook?
No, I mean, it depends. Actually, I'm cooking a lot more at home now. Last year I didn't cook at home at all. I literally cannot think of a meal I made at home last year, unless it was like something that I was making a recipe demo because somebody asked me to, and it was some kind of like camera related, gig or whatever.
I thought you were gonna say like I had to be nice to the wife. I misbehaved.
Shoot,
I was like, I gotta make it up.
No, actually, we usually go out to eat or something like that.
Oh, dude, what? Oh, come on, man. You're a chef. How dare you?
No, but you got to understand, part of being a chef, especially when it comes to developing recipes, you got to understand what everybody else is doing. What trends are going on. And there's so many good restaurants opening up here in Dallas. And at the time, last year I was in Austin. And so I was just trying to catch up on it was my first time like really living in Austin last year. And I was just trying to learn everything I possibly could from what's the restaurant scene in Austin compared to Dallas, you know? Right. So like a lot of last year was just dining out, more than I should have, but dining out almost every night. Just again, it wasn't because I was like, oh, I'm trying to go out and dine. It was just because I was trying to learn. I was trying to understand how the restaurant scene worked over there. And as I was developing recipes and concepts, down there, I wanted to really immerse myself in the industry, learn who the, big bartenders and mixologists were, learn who the big chefs were, kind of shake hands and kiss babies and all that other kind of stuff, so that was last year. But now I cook a lot at home. I love cooking in the restaurant because with the dish pit that we got, you spray all your stuff down, send it in, it comes out clean. Exactly. At home, it's not really set up that way.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, so how do you, if you do cook at home, like, do you clean as well? Is that, or like, it's like, well, baby, maybe I'll cook, but you help me out with the dishes.
Yeah, no. So my wife is great with that. She does a lot of the cleaning for me at home.
There has to be some sort of agreement.
With couples, so I always was like, man, baby, I cook, you clean or whatever, but. I think, she's like, how about you cook and you clean up your own messes? However, she's great. And she ends up cleaning up my messes, too. So, I get the best of both worlds. I get to have fun cooking in the kitchen and she cleans up. So it's nice.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Good for you guys. Let's, kind of like change it up a little bit. Yeah. Let's just kind of get your opinion on a few things.
Okay, sounds great.
I love food.
Okay.
I love food. I'm a very big in tacos. I love tacos. Bro.
I'm a big in tacos.
No, bro, you don't understand.
I don't, bro.
No, bro, you really don't understand. You don't understand.
But did you open a restaurant where you made tacos because you were so into tacos, though?
My grandfather did, though.
But did you?
No, I eat there all the time.
So what I'm hearing is me and your grandpa are on the same taco level.
Yeah. No, so
no, kidding. All right, let's talk tacos.
Wait, you guys have a lot of tacos on y'all's menus. But you also have you have other stuff. You have like a Mexican version of ramen. With the fideo.
It's kind of like if you were to take fideo, and I guess somewhat cross it with ramen, but without the broth. So I guess I'll tell you the fideo story, and actually it's super authentic. When my dad was growing up in Durango, he grew up on a little farm, and I mean this farm had no running water, no electricity. Okay. And so grew up with his grandparents over there. And basically his grandmother used to just bake a big pot of fideo. They would grab, some veggies from the garden, zucchini, squash, jalapenos, serranos, all that kind of stuff. And then, kill a chicken or a goat. And it was just kind of a big one pot meal.
Of course.
So my dad was like, how do we take that and turn that into something millennial? Because that was not millennial. It was farm to table before it was a trend, right? He was living the lifestyle of farm to table. Yeah. So that's how the whole fideo kind of noodle bowls, we call them like next gen noodle bowls, because it was taking that peasant dish, all the veggies, all the fresh proteins, and combining them in a way that millennials would understand, which is where the kind of ramen or that kind of style came to be. So most people call it Mexican ramen.
No, that's a cool story. I have not tried it though.
No way.
I haven't tried that specifically.
Gotcha.
But I've had your tacos there.
You gotta have the carnita ones. If you come in, have the roasted carnita noodle bowl.
Yeah.
We actually did that one on Beat Bobby Flay on Food Network, and
nice.
That to me that one's the best. Even before we did the show, that was always my favorite. So come in and do that one.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm doing that today after I get out of here.
Sounds great. Perfect.
Right. I was gonna ask you. So like, do you still enjoy like tacos? Like
hell yeah.
How often do you go out of your way, or do you go out of your way? Like, I want to find like a new like taco spot.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the freaking
Like,
time.
like forget the fine dining. Fine dining, that's good. But
no, dude, honestly,
I want
forget the
street-
fine
I
dining.
want street
No,
tacos
forget
sometimes.
the fine dining, bro. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Like, give me tacos every meal of the day, every day of the week. You know, every single, all 8 days and all 25 hours. Give me all the tacos. No, like when it comes to tacos, that is my meal of choice.
Awesome.
100%.
Do you still enjoy like huevo con chorizo? Like,
Oh hell yeah! I don't eat. So unfortunately, like I don't eat a lot of pork anymore. But I mean, for me, like breakfast, like the ultimate like breakfast taco is just, bro, just some beans and cheese and egg. Like, keep it simple. Throw avocado, some queso fresco, and some cilantro, some nice spicy salsas. ¿Qué más quieren? I mean, you know what I mean?
Nice. Have you? Do you go to Mexico?
Oh yeah. No,
how often do you go?
Shoot, multiple times a year.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So usually, I mean, I'm going to Jalisco to do some kind of like tequila trip. You know,
Makes sense. Yeah.
Learn more about tequila. My wife and I recently went to Oaxaca to do a mezcal trip, and just, you know, ultimately culinary. I mean, the culinary scene in Oaxaca in general, I feel, is the most underrated place in Mexico. I mean, people talk about it, but as far as like traveling, like it's not touristy, and I love that about it. You know, you go there and like even the Spanish is different, bro. Like they're still speaking like a blend of like Spanish and like Nahuatl. You know what I mean? Like instead of saying salud, they say dishpe. You know, like it's a really interesting place. So absolutely. So Jalisco, Oaxaca. My wife and I, we love the beach. We got engaged on a beach, so we love, you know, going to any kind of beach. Last year we went to crap, man, I cannot remember it.
Where's
now
it
that I'm
at?
on the spot. It was an island like 2.5 hours north of Cancun. Little remote place.
The Mujeres?
Yeah, it's kind of like Isla Mujeres, but like even more remote. Like, I mean, not some place that is again major touristy. Like no cars on the islands. Like literally just golf carts. People get around in golf carts. Yeah. It's hardly any Wi-Fi, you know, on the island, and we just went to get away, and so we'll do that. But I mean, we also went to Mexico City, so 2 to 3 to 4 times a year, as much as we possibly can get to Mexico, we go.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love Mexico. I lived in Mexico before pandemic happened.
Okay.
So, and I traveled a lot, and my thing with Mexico, it's like, when people say they love Mexican food, it's like you have to understand that there's different types
100%
of Mexican food.
100%.
If you're in the north, not to say Monterrey is the best, but I cannot prove it, but I'm pretty sure it's true. But everything that's in the north of Mexico, it's known for, the meat.
Yes,
absolutely. And you will find the best tacos. What?
Ooh, that's a bold statement,
dude.
Bro.
I listen.
So now look, I got norteño blood in me, so I agree with you, like for what my preference is. But I mean, man, you tell somebody from Oaxaca or from Mexico City that tacos in the north are better than tacos in the heart of Mexico.
I was gonna say let me specify.
Yeah, please.
Tacos de res.
Okay.
De res. Anything that's like beef.
Agreed.
But those de bistec, o sea, de res, like those are the
agreed.
The arrachera in Monterrey. It's really, really, it's a delicacy.
Yes. I 100% agree with you. Any like carne de res in northern Mexico is going to be way better than And I'm probably going to get persecuted for this, so
it's all right. We'll take it out.
No, it's all good, right?
No, dude. So I did want to tell you that I want to talk to you about the different parts of like the food from all over Mexico, because like even like Oaxaca, I love how you mentioned Oaxaca, because I lived a month in Oaxaca.
Okay. I'm jealous.
And dude,
I would love to spend a month in Oaxaca.
I fell in love, with the people, but the food, and I did not know this, but Oaxaca has like 7, if not more, different moles.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like that's something that I was like, man, I wish Texas can adapt more. Like, we need to get more of those moles over here, like make it like a thing.
When Texans think of mole, they automatically think mole negro. That's all they think of.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
But there's so many more.
Yeah, there's so many more.
And they're all just as good, if not better.
Yeah, exactly. But over there, the food, when you have like that, the gastronomia in Oaxaca, and Chiapas, it's so good.
Agreed.
And it's something that you don't really see here in Texas. Right. It's a different type of food.
Absolutely.
But you have to go. In my opinion, it's like there's kind of like a hit and miss.
Right.
Especially when you're exploring territory that you're not really familiar with.
Right.
And also like they're not really like on Google or Apple Maps, whatever, you know. So it's just like it's sort of a hit and miss,
Right.
And you got to find the good ones. What was I going with this? God damn it! No, but it's just the like what's your opinion as far as like you know, bringing more of those flavors? You know, will it actually be a hit here at some point, or is like that's too far deep into Mexico that maybe the Tex-Mex world isn't really suited for?
Look, I think you know, in restaurants we say location, right? And so like, yeah, depending on your location, depending on your demographic, depending on your audience, you know, absolutely, there's room for that here in Texas. Now there's also the businessman in me that's saying, well, but Julian, but queso, you know, you sold $1 million for the queso last year, you know, like,
yeah, for sure.
So it's like, you know, like,
yeah.
But no, look, from a culinary, you know, gastronomy standpoint, 1000%, like we need more, you know, interior Mexican food, in Texas, you know, and I think there has been somewhat of a Latin renaissance, especially I don't think just in Texas, I think all over the United States. Like Mexican food is I remember back in the day you would like kind of like, what is it, 90s or whatever, it was all like Italian, Chinese, and like American food, like that was like kind of what everybody cared about. Now it's like Mexican food is like the hottest thing, and it's been here, it's been around, you know, but like
Latinos are like our trend.
Yes, we are on trend.
We're a trend. Like I would, you know.
Yes. It's awesome. So no, I do think like as that trend keeps going, it's only going to people are going to want to dive in deeper and deeper and understand more about like where those roots come from, you know, and you know how the natives, you know, when I think about Oaxacan food, I think about so much of the culture and ancestry of how you know, the Aztecs and the Mayans really developed that cuisine and what it, you know, has turned into today. And so, yeah, I mean, I 100% think there's room for that here. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time. And again, the business person in me is like, oh, you know, well, where are you putting this restaurant?
It's like have you heard the argument of like, you know, if Domino's were to start selling salads,
right?
You know, it's like, whoa, why would they do it? It's like people want pizzas,
right?
You know? Like, well, you know, maybe they should give salads out. Like, nah, why would they do that? It's
right.
Like, it's like what they sell the most, and you're catering to, you know, like what the audience,
right,
your clients want.
Well, and I think, look, I think one of the ways that we have tried to bring a different side of Mexican food in is that whole fideo story of like we understood if I was to bring you the fideo that my dad ate, not you would appreciate it, but if I was to bring the general guest, right, the fideo that my dad ate, they'd probably be like, what the hell is this? It wasn't sexy. It doesn't look, you know, super appealing or whatever. It's peasant.
It's not going on Instagram.
No, it's not. It's not. And that's what it's all about when it comes to food. And let me tell you, Oaxacan food is gorgeous. Like, so it's not missing that part, because when you go to Oaxaca and you eat their food, it is freaking beautiful. But I think that there's different ways that you have to then get these individuals to appreciate, understand, and want to enjoy you know, some of those more delicacy items, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when barbacoa was a delicacy here in the United States. I don't know if you remember that. I remember when like barbacoa was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, like gringos were like, I don't know if I could eat that. Now it's like people eat barbacoa like it's nothing. Like at one point, sushi was a delicacy in the United States, and people were kind of like, wait, what? Raw fish? Is that? Can we do that? In Japan, they've been doing it for years. Like, of course we can eat that. So it's just a matter of time. Like eventually, it will evolve into that.
Well, right now, like I see a lot is a birria.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
right, and that's not new for us. It's like
I had the first time I had birria was in Jalisco.
Okay,
and
that's the best place.
And
to have
it was the borrego.
Okay,
which is what's it?
Goat. Yep.
Yeah, it was borrego.
Yep.
And then when I started seeing him here, but here is beef.
Yeah.
Which is different. And I was like, well, it's not the same thing.
No. Well, I mean, it is, but it's. Well, kind of. But the goat is way more flavorful. Yeah. Like, and honestly, I remember one chef said this, and they were like, stop calling birria de res birria. It's might as well be barbacoa or something like that or whatever. And I'm like, she has a point, I guess, kind of, you know, barbacoa with a consomme or whatever.
Yes. I mean, you smell a consomme and it smells like.
Right.
I was like, but the taco is beef.
Right.
I have little issues with, you know, society nowadays with those things, but it's all right. It's not their fault. But you know what I've always believed, and because I've witnessed this, is that if you ever like wanted to like be like win over strangers, where like, you know, we're meeting someone that you never really spoken to, the best way to win them over is talk about their food.
Oh, absolutely.
The food, the culture of their food. So like if you talk to black people, talk like, you know, if you're talking to a black person you don't know, you talk about, you know, like a soul food or whatever, you know, or, you know, a Mexican, you know, if you talk to the mom or like the abuelitas, you know, instead of talking to them about like, you know, but like asking them like how do you guys prep the masa, right? You know, like stuff like that. They go all into. They get lost.
Absolutely.
You can agree, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
It's food.
Yes. No, it's, you know, when I remember my first experience in Monterrey, I'll never forget like how welcoming everybody was, just like bringing you into their homes, and like food was always the conversation. Like that was just kind of like the icebreaker. It was always talking about, you know, food and what, you know, somebody's mama used to make and all that other kind of stuff. And that's always what got into like the conversation. It was the icebreaker always was food. Yeah. Always.
Has there been food that you don't like?
Man, you know, I'm not.
You've been to Spain, you've done stuff out there.
I'm not picky at all whatsoever. You know, I love pork. I just don't eat it a lot anymore. You know, just because of the way I realize my body doesn't exactly react the best way to it. I love the way it tastes, but I'm not a picky guy. Like I eat just about anything. You know, there are things that I'm not exactly the biggest fan of. You know, like I'm not going to go out of my way to go eat or whatever. But you know.
You can drop the name or whatever.
No, I mean it's not really a name. I guess it's be more of like a, you know, like for
like snails or
like I mean no, I do like escargot. Okay, you put a nice you know kind of chablis butter sauce with it. I'm down. No, I think it's more of like, I guess I'll tell you one, chicken feet. Like I never got into chicken feet. Like tried it. It's all right, but if somebody was like, "Yo, man, we got to go to this place. They got the best chicken feet," I'd be like. How far are we going?
they don't wash them, dude. They're the best.
Yeah, I don't know. Like now, I will say, chicken feet have like the most amount of collagen. So you're making like a broth. Like it makes sense to make a broth, but not actually eat the feet. Like that's the.
So whenever you eat that, you eat everything but the nail, or how does this work?
I mean, yeah, that's so. I usually just cut them off. Like I don't. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like there's just something about it. I'm just like I'm not a fan. Like,
have you ever killed any animal before to cook it?
You know, I've never killed an animal.
Not even a chicken.
No, I've never killed an animal. Yeah, and I'm not even just saying that from the PR standpoint. I've never killed an animal.
Oh shit, I forgot.
No, it's okay. It's okay because I'm like literally legit thinking about it. Well, I guess,
but like in parties, you know how they have like they killed the goat or like you know because they're gonna eat it for the parties.
No, yeah. I totally forgot. No, it's okay. Dude. No, it's okay. Like it's so not a big deal. But like honestly, I've really actually never like I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait, have I actually? And I'm just saying, no, I've actually like legit never killed an animal. Unless I guess I've gone fishing.
If you find any of this offensive, please call the number at the bottom.
Right?
PETA.
Right. Like, oh no, man, I'm sorry.
Fish. Come on.
We got a vegan menu at Beto and Son Vegans. I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of you. We were the first Mexican restaurant in Dallas that wasn't a vegan restaurant to have our own vegan menu. Like years ago. So
what do you make? What is it?
We make corn,
mostly corn or what?
No, actually, we do like a vegan picadillo with like different like mushrooms and like you know like carne de soya, yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. Dude, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. I was like, oh god, you can't be saying stuff like that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, whatever. But I was gonna ask you like, you know, like you ever like skin a deer or something?
No,
you ever got
never.
Honey? You don't.
I have family. Yeah, absolutely. No, I would say I have a family that do that kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. I've just never. I've never had time to go out and do it.
I'm gonna take you out now.
Yeah.
I've never gone.
You've never gone either?
I've never gone. But my grandfather's always invited me.
Okay, yeah,
my grandfather to this day, he still goes and he's always inviting me, but I'm like, because it's freezing, dude.
Right.
And you're out there, you sleep out there on the trees,
right?
You know, and just waiting for like a deer.
No,
but we eat it. But we do eat it.
Yeah.
Just wanna, like, you know, we don't just.
No, I mean, my dad like he raised goats when he was a kid or whatever, and I mean, yeah, that's like they would sell the goat milk or whatever. They would sell the sheep skin and the like all like everything. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like the whole operation up there in Durango. You know, so he's done all that stuff, and you know, kind of like I'm sure your grandfather tells me about all the time.
For sure, man. Let's transition really quick to this. Tell me about this exactly again. So are you I know you're somewhat athletic. You like to keep you doing sports growing up.
Yeah.
You say you work out, and now you got a water. I guess sponsor. You're an ambassador.
Yeah, for Essentia.
Essentia water.
Yep.
I've never had this. This is the first time I drink this.
No way. Yeah. So
it works. Marketing works.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it's crazy. I'll never forget the phone call when they called and they're like, "Hey, so we're with this brand of water," and I'm like, "Okay," and like, have you ever heard of Essentia? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're my favorite. Have I ever heard of you?" Yes. But that's kind of how it all started. And
I was like, is this a true story?
No, it
like,
is. It is. It's 100%.
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife because we were talking about Essentia in the car, and I was telling my wife, like, I'll never forget that phone call. And that was on the way here.
Mm-hmm.
But so the reason I got into it was a couple of reasons. Being in the kitchen, you're sweating all the time.
For sure.
I mean, you're literally. So at the time when I realized I was like super dehydrated, I was working for the Ritz-Carlton. And I was doing a little internship, and I was working, I was easily 80 hours a week, spending all day from one kitchen to the next, whether it be banquets or at Fairings, their, restaurant, in the in-room dining kitchen. I was all day, just sweating under my chef coat, the entire time, and very quickly realized like I am not hydrating enough. And so I started drinking water, but realized that like not all, and I'm not trying to pitch or like sell anything.
Go for it, bro.
Okay. You gotta understand.
People need to know what they're drinking.
No. Let me put it this way. I'm a big nerdy food science guy. So like, that's where the whole liquid nitrogen margarita at Beto & Son came from. I'm a big food science nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we're talking about food, I want to go into like the freaking molecular gastronomy details of it. So, not to sell this, just trying to tell you like the background. When you drink water, your cells have to absorb it. And for your cells to absorb it, it actually, when we consume water, we consume H2O, but there's actually like this H2O3 molecule that's like basically what our bodies turn water into, that our bodies can then absorb it from a cellular level. Well, with all of the ionization that Essentia does, as well as, the electrolytes and all that kind of stuff that goes in there, it just makes it that much easier for our cells to absorb it. And what happens is our body is trying to flush stuff out as quick as it's also trying to absorb things.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times if you're drinking a water that is, not exactly alkaline or to the same level of your body, you just flush it right out. Your body doesn't really see a need for it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the whole hydration comes in, and why your body's able to absorb it so much faster and get so much more,
I saw this thing
hydration.
where, was it? I think it was Zac Efron's. Have you seen that documentary thing that he's done on Netflix? Like he's like traveling like around the world, like he's like out in the jungles.
Really?
And he goes to these little tribes, and then they were explaining like the water.
Yeah.
And why you shouldn't drink certain types of water.
Yeah, 100%. It's real.
And it's because there's some word. It has like the minerals that
you need.
Yeah,
are gone.
So because they're gone, it takes them from your body when you drink it.
100%.
Right.
So yeah, that's a lot of kind of just the background of water. Like we should not be consuming certain brands of water, and I'm not gonna say any of those, but like there's definitely water out there that we should not be consuming.
Yeah.
And so look, tell people to do their own research or whatever. You'll figure out kind of what I learned myself. Yeah. But I basically did my research back in the day. It led me to Essentia, and then a couple of years after I was already drinking it, they called and said, "Hey, you ever heard of us?" And I was like, what are we doing?
But I like how like it was like that was their take. I was like, we're gonna get this guy, that's like,
absolutely.
He's in the kitchen.
We're gonna dehydrate him really bad.
Let's put
and then
it. Yeah.
We're eventually he's gonna do all this reseach. It's gonna lead him to us, and then years later we're gonna give him that call.
But I was like, maybe he's somewhat like of a sports freak as well. That's why they got him into this.
No, I do love sports. I played sports all in high school. Love watching sports. Fan of obviously a lot of different athletes or whatever. But
what's your go-to sport?
To watch or to play? Both. To watch, I think right now it's football. Partially, I love athletes. Like it's less about the sport and more about the individuals. And so growing up in McKinney, Kyler Murray was like in Allen right down the street. And so like arguably best Texas high school quarterback of all time. And I grew up kind of like watching him, right? And then you've got Patrick Mahomes, who I got to do the commercial shoot with, who is just such a nice dude. I mean, like the guy, they were saying he was the next Tom Brady, and the guy was just super chill, like normal human being, like good old Texas boy, And so a big fan of those two individuals. And so I love like supporting them and cheering them on and all that kind of stuff. That's I think why I'm into football right now. But growing up, it was always like I was into basketball. Like I wanted to be Allen Iverson. I thought he was just the coolest dude ever. And so basketball was always my favorite sport growing up because of him. So I've always been a fan of the individuals and less of the sports, I guess.
Have you ever like looked into like maybe more the other kind of sports? Let's say like
MMA?
bullfight, like los toreros.
No, dang, no. I mean, honestly, I can't say that I have.
No,
No.
Do you? Yeah, I've been to one.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's very fun.
Okay.
It's a different kind of intense.
I believe it.
I would say, I would imagine it being similar to when people like when you go see UFC.
Yeah.
You know, like how it's so like hardcore and
Yeah.
like savage. You know, beating each other's ass.
Yeah.
You know, like with hardly any protection, right?
Gotcha.
But this is the exact same thing. Like, dude, this guy can get killed by this bull.
Really?
Or it's like,
No.
I hope he kills the bull, right? It's a
Wow.
thrill. It's an adrenaline.
That's crazy.
But I was gonna ask you, are there any kind of like sports like that you've kind of been interested in looking?
No,
at,
so
seeing?
I guess nothing that exotic. I do like MMA, like
Right.
and UFC, like Brandon Moreno, man.
Oh yeah.
Big fan of his story, bro. And I guess this is where it goes back to like it's less about the sport for me and more about the come up story, more about where they are, who they are,
Yeah.
where they came from. And so that whole like when you know Brandon Moreno was like saying like, you know, one day like I'm gonna be the champion, like I promised, and then he went and did it. It was like, holy crap. You know that story?
Nope.
Dude, okay, so he's the first like Mexican champion in the UFC.
Wait, it's el chaparrito, right?
Sí,
The little
Chaparrito,
little short-
Tiny
yeah.
dude from
Yeah.
Tijuana.
Yeah, he just
Like-
won like not too long ago,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
But it's crazy though because years. I mean, I think
I
it
didn't know
was
the
a
story. I don't know
year.
the story to be, but yeah.
So he was trying to get in, and I remember he was having a hard time because again, he little like you said, little chaparrito, like tiny little guy, you know, like having a hard time kind of making his way into to UFC. People taking him seriously, and finally he was able to kind of like make it in. And they gave him not even a title fight. They just gave him like an actual like legit UFC guy, and he beat him. And it was a very emotional moment for him because of the struggle that he could even just to get the fight, like just to even get in the ring on a level that would be televised was so hard for him. And then, you know, he gets in and he wins and he like actually kind of makes a name for himself, and people start saying like, wow, could he win a title fight? But he has this very emotional moment where he's like, it might not be today and it might not be this year, but one thing I promise, like, I'll be UFC champion, I promise. And then literally like a year or so later, boom. And if you've seen the fight, it was so crazy to watch if you knew the story, because when you're seeing the fight, you could tell there was something in him. He would get hit and it was completely unfazed. It was like nothing could faze him. Nothing could hurt him. It was like watching, I don't even know how to put it, but you just knew deep down in your heart, like, dude, this guy is going to win. Like he cares nothing about anything else except winning this fight, and nothing is going to stop him. Like, it doesn't matter how hard this guy hits. The guy just kept coming at him like over and over and over, and boom. Sorry, didn't want to go.
Dude, I haven't seen the fight, but
okay, you got to go look it up.
I've seen it. I've seen the TikTok.
Right.
You know, like
the
reels,
TikTok and the reel.
of him. Yeah, with him winning that. I do remember that. Damn, I was gonna say something like totally stupid, but now he's like, you got it like very deep. Dude, I was gonna say, dude, I've always wanted to like go like I've wanted to witness like a sumo fight.
Oh, a sumo fight. Okay.
You know, just like, I was like, what? Like how?
I think just to see a human being that big.
But
right?
I hear that it's not even. It's more like a political thing. Like,
really?
It's not like going to like Vegas and like buying like, you know, the next like down like right underneath the ring.
Yeah.
You know, seats. You know. No, it's like, dude, like the president and like.
Oh,
you know,
gotcha, like that kind of thing.
Like they get first seats. You know.
Really?
And then it's a big deal.
Okay.
But I was like, man, I wish I would like to witness something like that.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, no, dude, I love the story. I love your story.
Sorry, no, that's what I'm saying,
dude. Yeah, no.
When it comes to sports, I'm all about the individuals and their backstories. And all that kind
those
of
stories are fucking awesome. Yeah, dude, that's we're almost out of time. You know what? All right, we'll make this one quick.
Yeah,
what about like, does hate exist in culinary? From other chefs, other chefs are like,
do other chefs hate each other?
Well, you know, like you being a young guy, up and coming people are like, nah, like his technique is like, no, like is that a thing?
Oh yeah,
It does exist. It does exist.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't want to, I guess, get too into it, but I think we as chefs are definitely very emotional human beings, and just like every musician and
like
artist.
any artist,
yes, like we are emotional. We strive for that self-satisfaction and that instant gratification of somebody telling us we've done something, right? So 1000% there is individuals in the culinary community that obviously see a 23-year-old, not 23 anymore, but like when I opened Beto and Son, I was 23, and just kind of being like, you know, who anyways, I don't want to.
I was just gonna say, like, I was like, because it's in Spanish, you know, they say el odio que vende un chingo.
Yeah.
So there's hate for, like,
yes.
it's sometimes the hate can sometimes be it's coming from a different place that they don't, a lot of times you don't realize it. So it's
right.
You know, maybe you're not jealous that he's a great artist. Is more maybe like he's selling more,
right? You
know, so it's just like the interpretation or like understanding where that hate is coming from, and everyone's different. But I was gonna ask you, like, just
no, yeah, it's real. However, one thing I will say, and I guess I should have prefaced it with this, is the culinary industry is very supportive, especially post-COVID. Like, everybody wants everybody to succeed. Like, there's so many, you know, stories of just amazing, talented individuals that didn't make it through COVID, especially like the local, you know, mom and pops that, you know, unfortunately didn't make it. So I would say that it definitely brought the industry together, and it was already a very supportive industry. But of course, you're going to get those individuals that, you know, got some malice in their heart, you know, and I'm sure their issue with, you know, somebody like, I guess, me, for example, has less to do about me as an individual and probably something else that they're struggling with on their own, right? That's just manifesting through something
exactly
other than, you know, that.
I was curious. I was like, does it? No, maybe. But you're saying that not right now. Everyone's being supportive of each other.
Yeah, awesome. it's super supportive, and like I said,
but it does exist. It's
of course,
there.
There's always, in every industry, there's always going to be those individuals that it's the whole mindset of like, I'm going to have the biggest building in town by tearing everybody else's building down, right? Like, there are those people that, you know, want to succeed that way rather than just building the biggest building themselves. You know what I mean? That's every industry is going to have those individuals. So unfortunately, the culinary industry does as well.
Yeah. Well, God damn it. Fun questions. You ready?
Let's do it.
Relationships. Here. You ready?
Okay. Relationships.
All right.
Love relationships.
All right. I just need you to tell us right now.
Yep.
Tell the audience.
Yep.
And the men.
Okay.
Okay. I need you to tell us right now. Is it true?
Okay.
That women find it sexy a man that can cook?
Oh shoot! I thought you were gonna ask me something like from my past or whatever. Like, is it true that this girl? I was like, oh no,
this girl said.
no. Okay, this is good. Okay, yes, absolutely. But this is the one thing. This is the one thing I will say though, is that my wife said this. She's like, I got scammed. She was like, I married a chef thinking he's gonna cook for me all the time. I'm gonna have breakfast in bed. Like, I'm gonna have these elaborate dinners.
No, sweetheart, it's not that kind of party.
She's like, look, you know, can I cook for her and make her anything she wants and dreams of? 100%. Do I have time to do that very often?
Baby,
last year it didn't happen once.
Right.
Yeah. So 100%. Do girls like a guy who can cook? 1000%. Yes. You know, girls got to eat, right? They always say girls got to eat. So yeah, when you can fill that desire, 100%, they're into it.
All right. Now tell me this.
Yep.
Like, cuéntanos and tell us of an occasion that you've used this gift that you have to win over a woman. Your wife doesn't need to know about this.
Oh shoot!
No, but like maybe in high school, you know, going through culinary school is like, all right, I'm gonna use
Okay, the only
I'm gonna use these hands to get me, you know, my prey.
Unfortunately, I'm not that smooth when it comes to.
Dude, come on, dude, for the story.
No, I know. Well, I got a story. I'll tell you, but I also want to say, like, so this is what I'll say. Pre-restaurant, pre-Beto and Son I was not like the most smoothest, you know, ladies man by any means, like at all whatsoever. You know, like artists are, they're kind of goofy, you know, they're kind of like, yeah. So I was not a super big ladies man pre-Beto and Son. Not to say that I am now, but I'm just more saying I didn't have that confidence, right? Okay. So once I opened Beto and Son, I remember there was one time a girl was like, hey, like, I want to go get tacos, but you know, again, like, it was super late at night, probably like 3 a.m, like everything, even taco places are closed, right? I'm sure there's some 24-hour place that was open, but And I was like, well, shoot, like, let's just go to the restaurant. He's like, restaurant. It's 3 a.m. Restaurant's closed. Like, well, I can open it up. I can make some tacos.
All right, my man. All right.
And so basically it was like, hey, let me open the restaurant up and make some tacos or whatever at the restaurant. Like, I got the keys, you know, like,
right.
So that, I guess that's the story of like a time where I tried to kind of like use the like keys to the restaurant and you know, grab some of the prep out the back or whatever and make a tortilla real quick.
But do you you know, set the mood a little bit, like maybe put some music on?
No, again, I'm not that good, bro.
Dude, oh my
I'm
God,
telling you, literally,
bro.
all I did was unlock the doors and cook the taco. Like, no, I'm not that good.
You want chicken or steak? So
Right, so literally, that's as romantic as it got. Like, I got carnitas, I got barbacoa, I got tinga, I got.
Damn. Oh God.
Yeah, sorry.
Damn it.
I wish I had something super hot and steamy.
All right, but that was before. That was early on.
Yeah.
Beto and Son.
Yep, very early, like the first couple months.
All right, right now you're a different man.
Yes, married.
Married?
Yes.
Hold on now. Don't wait.
Okay,
Hold on.
I'm getting excited.
You're getting excited. Now you're married.
Yep.
All right. For the alpha males, the chest hair, the las bestias.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, barbaric.
Yes.
What would you recommend for let's say the ones that don't cook?
Okay.
But like, you know, they want to impress a woman.
Totally.
What do you recommend? Keep it simple though.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Like, go to the store, maybe get like 4 ingredients and to make this one thing to woo her.
So honestly, what I would do is I would almost focus more on like a cocktail, which is going to be a lot easier for you to pull off and a lot easier for you to like make it look less awkward. Because this is the thing, like I could tell you like some of the best, you know, recipes, right? But if you look awkward doing it and you're not confident in the kitchen, it doesn't matter how it comes out. They're going to smell you out and be like, yeah, this guy's got no idea what he's doing, or he got lucky on this one. You know what I mean? But you know, making a cocktail, what I would say is yeah, absolutely there's hope. But if you're asking for like a culinary related thing, like I would just say keep it simple. You know, like, hey, all you need is a veggie, like asparagus, one of the simplest things to cook, right?
Okay.
And people think of it like, oh, asparagus, you see that at steakhouses, right? So I guess if we're going to go this route, I would say asparagus, simple steak. All you need is salt and pepper.
Okay.
All right. And then I would take like little fingerling potatoes. They're already like tiny and ready to go.
All right.
Toss them in olive oil. And again, salt and pepper, throw them in the oven. Wait till they're crispy. When you can eat it and they're tender and crispy, like it's good to go. That's it.
Wine? Maybe a bar?
Absolutely.
Okay. What kind of wine do you recommend? Come on now.
So if you're doing steak, obviously you want some red wine, you know, some nice
through
Cab, California. And look, it's so easy. Just do a little bit of research on the wine and just talk about that one. All you have to do is know one wine. You don't have to know the background story of how Cabernet was founded. Like, find a winery, look it up.
Trader Joe's has cheap wines.
Tell the story.
Pretty good.
Yeah. It's all about telling stories. That's what it's all about.
Tell
the story.
All right. Well, you see, like me, like I'd probably put some like a bolero. Okay. Luis Miguel is like set the mood.
Totally.
You know, and then like get the wine out. How you saying? Then go in for the steaks.
Yep. Absolutely.
But
that's the way to do it.
Yeah. But don't forget the boleros. You need that.
Yeah,
it'll help.
Absolutely. Gotta set the mood. Like I said, I'm not that smooth.
You're not that smooth. It's all right, man. You were smooth enough for your wife.
Yep.
And that's all that matters.
Yep. That's all that matters.
Well, man, we're about that time. Awesome. We really, really appreciate you coming over, man.
Bye, bro.
It's cool, dude. It's super chill.
It was great.
It's super chill. Yeah, dude. But I do get nervous with certain people, and especially when they're like, what do you call them? Like introverts. When they don't talk.
Yeah.
Oh man, it can get very awkward. So I have to get them drunk.
I'm sorry that I ramble. I'm the opposite.
We get the mezcal out. Yeah, no, I can't imagine. You know, we'll have to get a drink.
I said we probably could have gone for like a whole nother hour and like not even.
Right.
Like, we just blinked.
I didn't even go through all my notes. Honestly,
I'm sorry. I'm super long-winded.
Dude, no, dude, you're good. But honestly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time. We can find you on Instagram.
Yep, Instagram at Chef Julian Rodarte. You can also look at Beto and Son on Instagram. Website JulianRodarte.com, BetoandSon.com. Any of those spots.
Yep. Dude, we'll be sure to tag you on everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to share it.
For sure, dude. Thank you again. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you on the next one, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Wait, actually, hang on.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to share? Anything upcoming, exciting that you want people to know about, or
we kind of already talked about it a little bit so I think we already got there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to make sure.
No, I appreciate that.
All right,
thank you.
Guy. Already do.
Awesome.
Thank you again.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hell yeah, bro.
From one norteño to the next.
A huevo.
A huevo.
Órale. Saludos.
Yeah,
Bye, guys.
Yeah.